How's everyone?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. What you got?
Richard, what was your diagnosis on the missed field goal at the start of the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, we never want to leave points on the board. My diagnosis is always starts with the operation. That snap, hold, and kick. That wasn't clean. Protection was good. That wasn't clean, and we didn't get it done. And we need to get that done.
Which part wasn't clean?
It's just the whole operation. Yeah, whole operation wasn't clean enough for us.
When you're deciding whether to put it to the back of the end zone or kick it out of bounds, what are the factors that you weigh?
Yeah, I think Coach already addressed that with you all. So, I mean, I'm just going to reiterate what he said because it's the truth. We wanted the ball to go out the back of the end zone, and that didn't happen.
He also said that in retrospect, he should have had the ball kicked out of bounds.
Correct. Yeah.
What's the discussion like? You guys are.
Yeah, when we think we have a discussion, it's communication between coaches and players, and we communicate. We thought that we could kick it out the back. The player thought he could kick it out the back. If that doesn't happen, then we go to the next option.
Richard, is there any discussion between Torrey potentially kicking it out, or did that even come to mind?
Yeah, that's discussed. We always work with Torrey on that stuff, but that was not an option right there.
And just to clarify, there's the same, kicking it short of the landing zone has the same, what is the stipulation there?
The difference?
Yeah.
It's a 5-yard difference. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you talk a lot to Ben ahead of time about different scenarios, like when to go for it, when not to go for it, when to kick it out of bounds, when not? Like, how much input do you have either before or during those situations?
Yeah, we talk about it in the off season, and then it's a lot going on game day, and we talk on game day as well. So there's always constant communication.
What was your message?
We're always ready. Like whenever our numbers call, then we'll be ready to go out there and operate. So that's how that works.
What was your message to the group as a whole in terms of the punt coverage, which they hit you for
Yeah.
many big returns?
Yeah, when I look at the entire game, my message to them is the entire game it really was a tale of two halves. And really special teams was no different when it came to that. So there was some really positive things to start the game. Really, I thought the kickoff coverage unit was outstanding. And I want the punt coverage unit to be like the kickoff coverage unit. But the kickoff coverage unit brought energy, they brought juice, big hits, rocked the stadium. That was outstanding. Early contributions on punt return and kickoff return from multiple returners, some really explosive plays. For example, the first kickoff, tackle him, 25-yard line. Excellent. 3 and out, big explosive punt return. Set up the first touchdown. We scored after that. Kicked it off again. Hardy comes down, crushes the kid. Stadium goes nuts. We playing good football at that point, right? But I thought it was a tale of two halves in areas where we didn't play as well. And those successes in that first half and those phases didn't carry over to our other phases. Like the punt phase, it didn't carry over. We got to be better there. And I got to coach it better, and we got to be better. It starts with the snap. The snap has to be on target, and then the protection's got to be good and solid. And then Torrey's got to give us a good punt, and we got to do a better job covering. We knew that kid was a really good player, but we playing a better returner this week. So that's what's exciting. We playing all pro this week. So it'll be good there. And then the other part of the message to the team was we left points on the board on field goal. And I didn't think that that was up to our liking, and we obviously didn't want the game to end that way. So that's what it was. It was a tale of two halves.
Is Hicks a little too light to play wing?
We got an experienced player there that knows the techniques we're coaching and has done a phenomenal job at it throughout the years. He started there for a while. All right, and he's hadn't had any issues. But it's not about how many times you've done it. It's about the very next time. And you got to be perfect every time. So he knows what we're coaching. He knows how to do it. He didn't execute it on that play. And we got utmost confidence in that player and all our players going forward.
What was the technical mistake there on the one he got beat inside on?
Yeah, you just got to stay inside out. That's it. That's easy. It's day one stuff.
Will he be Does he stay a wing, or do you have to look at another option?
To be determined. Good question, but
You said you've got the utmost confidence in him.
to be determined.
You were talking about two halves. Do you think guys relaxed in the second half? Why do you think that energy didn't carry over?
Yeah, I don't think anyone relaxed. I just don't think that, we did what we did in the first half, we didn't do in the second half on teams. And that's my message to them. And that's what we got to try to get done this week. And we're excited about the challenge going into a hostile environment, playing a really good special teams unit. Really good. And we always have a heavyweight fight with them. All right? And that's what it's been. It's been their unit and our unit, two really good units going against each other in a battle every year, and it's always been, and it's been a chess match, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's what it's been.
Richard, there was about 7:38 left in the fourth quarter. Torrey has a 25-yard punt.
Mm-hmm.
What was your diagnosis on that specific play? What ended up happening there?
Yeah, that's the play we was talking about earlier. The same play he asked about. It's the same play. So, yeah, we just got to do a better job overall operating as a punt unit, not just that play, the whole game. That's the one that stands out, but the whole game. I think we need to be better, and we will be.
Richard, with Cairo on kickoff, how do you get your brain around why the ball wasn't able to get out the back of the end zone? Obviously, that's a key to fixing it, is figuring out why it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, we got like I said, coach addressed it already. If we want to do it again, we'll talk to the player in terms of what we decide to do, not in that situation, but with every play. We'll always communicate with our players. We trust our players, and we'll always communicate with them. And then we'll always do the best thing that we feel for the team going forward. So,
I mean, was it a technique issue, a strength issue? What did you determine with?
no, it just didn't hit it. It just didn't hit it as flush as he wanted to hit it. And it just didn't go out the back. And that happens. And guess what? Nobody feels worse about that than Cairo. Nobody does.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Hey, guys, we got another divisional opponent on the road, another really good football team that we're playing. They got a lot of weapons on offense. They got some new guys in the interior of their offensive line, but a lot of the skill players, quarterback, a lot of those guys are the same guys that were on the team last year. I think this is going to be a really tough challenge in a hostile environment. But we're looking forward to the opportunity. It's a great opportunity for us to go in and play against a team that won the division last year. So,
Dennis, big picture from week one, you guys, you held them to 6 points for 3 quarters. I know obviously the fourth quarter wasn't what you were hoping for, but how do you kind of assess how the defense looked?
look, I mean, I thought we did some good things. I think we got to finish better. But ultimately, anytime you don't win the game, we didn't do enough. So, but really, our focus now is really on Detroit. We've kind of moved past that a little bit. I know I hadn't had a chance to visit with you guys since then, but our focus really is on Detroit. Like I said, they got a lot of really good skill players, a lot of speed on the field. It'll be a tough challenge.
What stood out to you from Noah's performance?
You guys are going to keep asking me about last week.
Well, I guess it could play into if he has to play this week.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, much like the rest of the defense, I thought there was, a lot of things that he did well. There's some things that we had to fix and correct. Hopefully we learn from the mistakes that we made and we move forward.
EA, for a team that loves to run the football like Detroit does, they struggled so much this past weekend. What were your takeaways for your defense?
Well, I think number one is I know that's going to be their mentality. I know they're have a bully ball mentality, and they want to be able to run the football. I thought Green Bay did a nice job against them in the game last week. I think that's where everything starts with this football team is, their ability to run the football, which opens up the play action passing game, things of that nature. So we understand that that's going to be a challenge, and it's going to start with our ability to stop the run. So we're going to have to do a good job there. And then we're going to have to, eliminate the explosive plays, whether it be, the check downs and the run after catch, things that they like to do, or, some of the shot plays down the field. So, I mean, they're effective in doing a lot of different things.
What makes finishing stronger, as you said, that you guys did not finish strong in the Monday night game? What do you pinpoint in terms of helping that to not happen?
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, I think sometimes we try to make this game a lot more complicated than it really is. You know, when momentum starts to swing in the opposite direction, rather than trying to do more, narrow your focus and just focus on the basic fundamentals of playing football. Get your eyes in the right spot, uh, do your job and do the things that you're supposed to do, and don't try to do too much. You know, and that's really what the focus is for 4 quarters. Focus in on doing my job, all right, and trusting that the other 11 guys on the field are going to do their job. Because on every single play, we all have a job to do, all right? And if we trust that our teammates are going to do their job, and we do ours and we do it well, then we're going to have success.
Did you notice any changes just from what they're doing up front with the run game? As far as I know, they have 2 new offensive linemen at center and right guard.
Yeah, I see a lot of similarities in the run game to what they've done in the past. I think obviously that's the unique thing about when you get into a game and you're really only in the second week of the season. There's still not a lot to go off of in terms of exactly how, you know, Johnny Morton's going to call the game. So I think we'll have to be ready to make some adjustments and see what they're trying to do. But I didn't really notice a whole lot different in terms of how they were trying to attack.
Jared Goff so sorry.
Kevin
What makes Jared Goff so good? Would you say?
Well, I think when he's able to throw the ball on timing and rhythm, I think he's exceptional. You know, as a pocket passer, and so we've got to be able to disrupt timing, whether that be through the rush or that be through the coverage. That's what the whole thing's got to be predicated on, is you know, trying to make him uncomfortable in the pocket, and so, you know, we'll have a plan for that.
Dennis, the Lions, obviously St. Brown is defense. The Lions said they also want to incorporate Jamison Williams and Isaac Tesla scoring the only touchdown for them against the Packers. What have you seen of each of those receivers?
Well, I mean, look, obviously St. Brown is a hell of a player, and they use him in a lot of different ways. He's a incredible route runner. He's got great savviness in terms of how he runs his routes, which makes that a challenge. And then, you know, certainly Jamison with his speed becomes challenging, you know, especially, you know, on the downfield throws or the throws where he's trying to run across the field. You know, being able to run with him is challenging. And then the rookie Tesla, you know, he's a big-bodied receiver, you know, that has the ability to make contested catches. So, like I said, they've got a lot of weapons. I mean, both these runners are outstanding runners. Gibbs is explosive. You know, so we got to be able to try to eliminate the explosive plays with him, stop the interior, you know, running game, and I mean, it's just that there's a lot of weapons that they have, and so it's hard on every single play to think we're going to be able to take everybody away. So we just got to play good team defense. We got to do a great job of tackling, and in particular tackling in space.
This when Kevin Byard was in here, I think yesterday, he was talking about watching the Packers-Lions tape from week 1, and he thought that Green Bay's tackling was like airtight. Where do you feel like you guys are at on that?
Well,
That specifically against Detroit.
yeah. Well, I think number one is we got to understand who their weapons are and how they like to use their weapons, and that has a lot to do with how we tackle, and then look, quite frankly, our ability to get guys down in space is going to be important. So many eyes as we can have on their guys is the better.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you.
Declan, on that route that DJ Moore ran towards the end of the game, the go route, was that a designed run, or did he just adjust off the coverage? What
That wasn't designed.
was not designed?
It was not designed. We were, he's running an out cut. He felt himself in space, and sometimes guys, are football players and they feel that and they're putting their hand up. And so obviously, people look at it and they say, hey, they're not on the same page, and we weren't in that case. But that's something that we've looked at and that's getting corrected, and obviously we'll be better for that moving forward.
What is the correction there for you guys?
Really, you would love to run if the quarterback is in his rhythm, he's expecting you to be in a certain place, and so we're saying, hey, that's where we got to go. If you end up, hey, I'm wide open early in the route, you can fire that hand up and tell him, early in his drop that, hey, I'm running into space here. But that's one of those things we just got to get those two guys on the same page. And really, the correction is across the board for the whole offense. It's good for everybody to kind of see that and how we want to handle that in the future.
Ben said yesterday he feels like he needs to call more runs. What's your role in helping him find that balance and being able to find opportunities to maybe get Kyle more involved there and balance it out a little bit?
Yeah, I think that we're all kind of involved in that, just as far as designing the plan. Kyle's a guy that we look at that every time we ask him to do something, he does it to the best of his ability. He's a guy that we feel like we can utilize moving forward in certain roles. But really, the run game was obviously disappointing. Really, more in the first half, we were inefficient on normal downs, and then really as the second half went on, we were efficient on 6 of 10, and so it got better as the game went on. But obviously, as we kind of got into the later part of that game, and now we're down, you're having to call more passes just to try to get yourself back in that game. And so running the ball is always a privilege. You come out and you're efficient. More of them are going to get called. But we got to take better advantage of those opportunities when they're presented early in the game to keep that rolling.
Caleb scrambled a lot the other night.
Yeah.
What is the balance that you guys have to strike between him playing within the offense?
Yeah.
But also when it's time to go, him not being afraid to just get out of there.
We talk about that all the time with the second act. You want to be playing within the offensive system, and so you want to be playing through your reads. And then at a certain point in time, sometimes it's coverage dictated. They might be playing a variation of two-man. They don't have somebody for the quarterback, and we're going to tell him in those situations, sometimes your legs are better than whatever we have called, and it's your responsibility to go hurt those guys. We had 4 explosives off of scrambles, and so it's something that certainly can provide a lot of value for our offense. It's something that you don't want to lean away from. You don't want to say, hey, be a robot and sit in there. However, we want to be playing within our scheme, the plays that are designed for certain coverages, and then quarterback, you're the eraser. You erase mistakes, and you go make it happen. And so that's something that, obviously we'll encourage him to do that, to extend plays and go make yards. Obviously, you see when he takes off, he's pretty fast and he can roll. So something that, we're excited about in our offense.
Dunze was saying the other day that the throw he made to him on the first drive along your sideline there when he was on the run is something that's rare.
Yeah.
What about Caleb throwing on the run is different than other quarterbacks?
You guys can see it, like fans can see it. That's the thing that makes him, that's his superpower is when he's extending, he has incredible arm talent. There are things that happened the other night that you're like, man, there's a handful of guys in the league that can make those kinds of plays. And then there's a lot of plays that, you watch the tape and, he may come back and be like, hey, I want that one back. And so obviously there's a lot of talent there, but it's really just the expectation for all of us is that we improve every week. And this is a race right here. Like we're in training camp. It's totally blind. Like you have blinders on. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, that's where teams really find out who they are. And that's where the huge jumps are made from week 1 to 2 to 3. And that's what we need to do right now. We have to have a sense of urgency about it and improve.
How would you assess how the offensive line performed on Monday night?
Obviously, with the penalties, I would say that was an issue. That's something that can never happen, and that really was the story of the game. We would put ourselves in kind of efficient down and distance, and we would knock ourselves out. And I think on 3 separate occasions, we end up knocking ourselves out, taking points off the board in one case, and then twice, we're not able to convert on 3rd down because we're in 2nd and longer or 3rd and longer. I think they played hard, but that's an area that we still need to continue to get better every week. And I'm excited to see these guys go this week.
Declan, what eliminating that?
The key to eliminating that is emphasizing it and continuing to emphasize it. It's been something that we've worked since we've gotten here, but obviously it's not up to our standard right now. Our standard is championship standard. Is it going to be good enough to win the last game of the year? And that's not. And so that's something that's an issue that's addressed with the full group, and that's obviously got to get cleaned up.
What did you come to appreciate about Dan Campbell in your time together in Columbus?
Yeah, Dan. So it's kind of funny to see him on the opposing sideline because he's somebody that I spent 2 years around. I have a lot of positive feelings for Dan. He's a very authentic person. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and it makes players really want to play for him. Makes people love to be around him. But we're going into this game, and it's just another opponent this week.
In what ways do you see that like manifest in how his players played for him?
The team itself is a hard-nosed team. They're tough. Obviously, with Ben coming here, he had a strong hand in developing that, as did Aaron Glenn, who ends up going, and Aaron Glenn was with us in New Orleans as well. They kind of resemble Dan in a lot of ways. They're a tough team. We have a ton of respect for what they do, and yet we're competitors, and we're going to go in between the white lines and go.
If Ben was a snot-nosed computer geek or whatever Dan's nickname was, what was yours? Did he call you anything?
He didn't call me anything. No, I didn't have a nickname. I was just Declan.
Declan, with
Quarterback comfortable with, as much as Caleb has been hit, staying in the pocket, maybe waiting and seeing, okay, this route is gonna develop and the pocket's starting to close, it's not closed yet.
Yeah.
I just gotta hang in there. How do you get him comfortable with that through practice and reps?
So first is an individual. You'll see them working that at times. I've actually seen improvement from him in that regard of being willing to stand in there. Obviously, last year he got hit a lot, and so that's something that, especially young quarterbacks, they start feeling that, and they start wanting to evade or back up, or they're early to take their eyes away from downfield. And so it's an area that I think he's actually improved thus far. He's doing a better job of playing through those things downfield, and it's something that we got to continue to work, because it is an area that most young quarterbacks struggle with early.
some of his off-target throws, yesterday he said it could have been footwork, might have been hesitancy. How do you diagnose that in game if he's being hesitant, if he's not, if his feet are clean and he's not ripping it the way he needs to? How do you address that?
I think it's play to play, but you're correcting each play as they come. You know what I mean? There were times where we weren't as accurate as we wanted to be, and there were plays that we want back. And the biggest thing is watching it, evaluating it, making sure that he is getting the correction and he's seeing exactly where he needs to improve. The next time we do it with the fundamentals and mechanics we're going to ask him to use, and we're going to get better moving forward.
He's talked about that 4th and 3 being one that he wants back. When he's got a clean pocket, he's got time to throw, and he misses that one, does it weigh almost a little bit more because that's a throw he should absolutely be making every time? Like, how do you view that?
I don't know if it weighs more. I think on every snap, we're expecting all of our guys to do their job, and on that snap, his job is to deliver a clean, catchable ball, and we don't do that, and so there's a lapse, and anytime it's all of us, always, there's 11 of us. Anytime there's one lapse anywhere across the board, it can take us off track, and so that's something that it doesn't weigh any heavier than any other player making a mistake, but that mistake can cost us, and so everybody's got it. It's got to get corrected.
Last two, Pat Finley first.
Oh, 2 Pats, very confusing. 3 Pats. There was the series in the third quarter where Swift was really just moving the pile and running with attitude.
Yeah.
When that's going, what impact does that have just on the other 10 guys on the field?
Yeah.
And, is it possible for him to do that throughout a game, or just the fact that, or is that just too difficult physically?
I think that's an energy shift. Anytime you start running the ball well, the sideline can feel it, the players can feel it. Swift is more than willing to drop his pads and go, get the yardage necessary. It's something that, it can happen throughout the game, and we expect it to happen throughout the game. It just so happened that, we were a little more effective in the second half as we started rolling there, and you could feel it from Swifty. But I can't say enough about, him as a person, just being around him every day. I think that he's a guy that you can count on in adverse scenarios where, we need somebody to step up and go do it.
When you're talking with Caleb and watching the tape with him, right, and he has the deep route open, but takes the underneath route and still a completion. What's the coaching point there? Is it, good job taking that, but maybe you could have taken this next time, see this? Or is it, hey, if you got that shot, take it?
It's the same thing. It's process oriented, play by play. So if there's a shot on tape where, hey, we might have a deep option and you got to be able to see a safety, or you got to be able to see a backer, or whatever that is, correcting his eyes first and making sure that he's seeing it and he's able to pull the trigger quickly. And then if he's late or if he is off of it, or getting to your checkdowns, finding ways to get the ball to our playmakers in space. And so it's play to play.
Thanks, Declan.